Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time may be from wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to Productivity in Real Life, where we like to talk productivity applications like Evernote, Notion, Todoist, Microsoft Office Suite, and of course so many more. We'll actually put these applications to use in real-world examples and show you how to get the most out of them. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and of course share this video. Don't forget to tap that bell icon when you do subscribe so you're notified of our new videos as they're released. Over the next few videos, I just want to talk to you about how I use my note-taking applications in day-to-day life. For me, Evernote is my go-to application, and I've got an easy 45,000 notes in here right now. That's actually down from about 70,000. I did a fairly significant purge there a few days ago. But yeah, I get asked all the time, how can you possibly have that many notes in Evernote? And what do you do with them? How do you find things once you get to that level of notes? And so on. So I want to talk to you about basically that. This week is going to be a whole lot of what am I dumping into Evernote to have 45,000 notes. Everything I talk to you about this week is easily transferable to whatever your favorite note-taking application is, whether that's Evernote, just like myself, or whether you're using OneNote, Notion, Bear, or even Apple Notes. It's all easily transferable, a transferable system. It just comes down to how you use it and having the information in there. So today, let's show you how I use my favorite note-taking tool, Evernote again, for travel and adventure planning. And just jumping up to Evernote search, I'm just going to do a search on my travel tags. And so, again, this is something, it's going to change slightly based on how you use your note-taking applications. But in Evernote, we can tag our notes, and a lot of other note applications, you can do the same. So in my case, I've got a master travel tag. Actually, let me just jump to tags here, and I'll show you my structure. Close out some of this other stuff here. Actually, we'll be forever doing some closing. So, travel, T. I use a manually nested travel tag system. So, all of my notes will have travel, and then a dash, and then some information after that for my tags. So I've got travel, some master travel tags in the Evernote system here that are marked, and I don't use. Like travel, I guess, has one note in it. It's probably gotten away from me and tagged like that accidentally, so I'll have to review that at some point. But I've got here locations, as you can see, travel locations. I've got travel miscellaneous, travel by theme. I got some travel tags that I have to sort, and I can do that right now. These are all locations, so I can drag those under the locations. And travel theme wildlife, that goes under theme right there. GPX files goes under miscellaneous. So let's open those all back up. Alright, getting back on track. Like I said, I have notes that are tagged by locations. So here in Africa, I don't have a whole lot tagged, but I've got some stuff for Egypt, Georgia, Madagascar. I've got Asia. I've got Canada, of course, where I live. I've got further broken down by Canadian province. So travel Canada, BC, travel Canada, Labrador, Canada travel Canada, Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, Yukon, Alberta. I have a master tag here, and I've also got it broken down because I live in Alberta. I've got it broken down into some more specifics as well. Banff, Canmore, Crow's Nest, Jasper, Kananaskis, things like that. Going across the board here, travel Caribbean, Bahamas, Barbados, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Jamaica. I've got Europe. I've got it broken down into a few different things. Mexico is broken down into, Cancun, Cozumel, Puerto Vallarta, some general unsorted spots in Mexico. I got South America in here broken down. General one in the South Pacific. USA's got a big breakdown, pretty much one for every state. And I got some various, the Arctic, the Antarctic. Some of these are, maybe some pretty wild dreams, but they're things of interest, so I put them into Evernote. Evernote's my second brain, and I use that just to capture all that information. As far-fetched as it may be, you never know. One day I might win the lottery and say, hey, I remember thinking about a trip to the Antarctic. How do I pull that off? And hey, Evernote, what's in my Antarctic travel plans? Or perhaps I'm in Arizona on a business trip, which is not so far-fetched, and then I want to see what I've been doing, or what I've got that I can do while I'm in Arizona. Perhaps that business trip, I'm there for 4 or 5 days, and they happen to be over a weekend, and I don't have to work those days on the weekend, and I want to see what I can do, or what I wanted to do and what I wanted to see. So I just jump into Evernote and I look up Arizona. I'll show you some more of that here in a moment. We'll just continue going through my travel tags. So continuing on here, travel miscellaneous. I've got GPX files. I don't really have much in there. Just the OneNote at the moment. I got to do some sorting and get more into there off of my GPS systems. So these are just that, GPS files, so that I can map out different trails for hiking, exploring off-road vehicle-wise, or whatever. Things that I've got mapped, which, again, I don't have very many notes in there. I need to have a second look at that, because I do know I've got a lot of things mapped that just aren't showing up in there. Travel tips, those are basically web clips, websites that have some interesting travel planning tips or traveling tips, just exactly as the tip says, that I've bookmarked or clipped right into Evernote. If I hover over the tag here, Evernote shows me a few things. So I've got 14 major travel scams to avoid, what to do in an airline. I'm not sure what that might be. Probably loses your luggage, and so on. Just different articles that I've saved that pertain to travel tips. Next is travel theme. So again, I got a variety of broken down themes here. Travel theme: abandon, adventure, aliens, Bigfoot, caving, climbing, expat, festivals, hiking, kayaking, haunted, scuba diving, photography, off-road related, trade shows, underground, Trans-Siberian. These are themes, exactly as it says, themes. So if I wanted to plan a scuba diving trip, and I'm an avid scuba diver, warm water scuba diving though, I'm not sure about this cold water stuff, but so I collect a lot of scuba diving articles from online magazines, or it might be a print magazine I'm snapping a picture of or scanning a page on, and I save them into Evernote and I stick travel theme scuba on there. So if I want to plan a scuba diving trip, I just have to search on that tag, and actually we can just click on it, and up comes 139 notes, all related to my travel with scuba diving. So if I want to plan a scuba diving trip, I might go to that tag, travel theme-scuba. Find all my tags for scuba diving, and I might scroll through. Okay, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to see the sharks? Do I want to maybe look at a scuba diving trip with the seals? What's this one about? places in Mexico. I might skim through that. Fiji, what's in Fiji? Oh, more shark diving. Where to go scuba diving in Kentucky. This looks interesting. Maybe I could plan a trip there. And in doing so, this lets me plan my trip. I can see, okay, I want to do a scuba diving trip. Where all might I look at going? I want to do some wreck diving. So there was that Kentucky one with a motorcycle in it. Here's a Volkswagen bug sculpture. Where's this one? Oh, it's at Musa in Mexico. So I might plan my trip based on that. Do I want to go back to Cozumel? Here's all the dive sites. And I don't have it saved in here, but I might look up my scuba diving log and say, okay, well, I've already done all these dives down here. Where else can I go? What should I do next time I go to Cozumel? And I can add those notes in here. So I might say, stayed at Scuba Club Cozumel in 2019. I think that was when I went. Dove, Planacar Gardens, Caves, Santa Rosa Wall, etc. in So you're kind of catching me with a note that's maybe a little bit out of date. I would have to go back to my actual trip notes to see what all I was diving for sure. And you get the idea though. You can web clip these, whether it's a photograph of a poster or whether it's a PDF you've downloaded off of a website. In my case here, this looks like it would have come in. Yeah, this was a blog post that forwarded into my Evernote automatically. There was some Instagram feeds that I've just taken screenshots of. The way of getting the notes into Evernote is endless. But, like I say, I've got it all organized by the theme of scuba diving here. Let's say instead of scuba diving, I want to try climbing. Here's my notes on climbing. And there's a broken image in this. This came in from Instagram. But where do I want to go climbing? Here's a dam in Switzerland. I'm not sure where this one is. This is in Canada, Northwest Territories. I don't have much in here for climbing. I kind of injured my shoulder a few years ago on an ice climb. And I'm actually just starting to get it back to normal now. But that's how I do for my travel themes. Now, you saw that one come up, that scuba diving location in Kentucky. So what happens if I want to plan a trip to Kentucky, or if I find myself in Kentucky? What do I want to do there? What do I want to see? So travel USA-Kentucky. Up comes my note on Kentucky. Oh, here's that note about scuba diving. So if I'm in Kentucky, I might have my notes here on Kentucky. Oh, I can do some scuba diving. Oh yeah, I wanted to, this is just a screenshot off of a YouTube thumbnail. If I get a chance to go kayaking, Grotto Falls in Grayson Lake, Kentucky. I want to go back to the caves. I haven't been to the caves in Kentucky for a very, very long time, probably 20 some odd years now. So I want to go back to Cave City. What if I find myself in Utah? Oh, here's lots of things. Here's an Instagram post. I want to find the dinosaur tracks. Go back to Valley of the Gods. Zion National Park. I can do some off-roading there. And you'll see another tag has come up. Off-road. This one probably has hiking on it. I don't have hiking on there, but travel-theme-hiking. Now if I'm looking up places to hike, oh yeah, Utah, dinosaur tracks, I want to do that. more about off-roading. This was actually a news feed that, again, I have forwarded into straight into Evernote. More hiking. It's in Utah. Subway hike at Zion National Park. Go back to the arches. When I was down in Utah doing some off-grid camping, I've saved their camping and restrictions map. Here's climbing in Utah, and we don't have that tagged as climbing, but we can do that easily. Travel theme - climbing. Here's more on the dinosaur tracks, and again, I don't have that tagged properly. Hiking. So this is when I was in Moab in February 2018. Somebody recognized my vehicle off of another one of my YouTube channels, and they drew me a map on where to find some of those dinosaur tracks. And so, like you see here, 70 notes if I'm in Utah again, or when I'm in Utah again. What do I want to do? What did I do? What didn't I do? I can find that fairly quickly and easily all through here just by going to my travel-USA-Utah. We did the one for Kentucky. What if I'm going to Florida? I can scroll through my notes and see everything that I wanted to do in Florida. Well, you can see from all the pictures there's a lot of scuba diving I want to do in Florida. So I might plan also a dive trip while I'm there. I might say, oh yeah, there was something here that came up in Florida. You can see I've also got other tags for Ontario, Canary Islands, China, Colombia. So hey, there was something about an abandoned building in Florida here. Where is it? What is it? Disney's Discoveryland, Lake Buena Vista, Florida. I might try and plan a trip to see what that's all about. The ultimate Central Florida road trip. I might try and figure that one out and go on a road trip and see all the sights. Smoky Mountain. I'm not sure what that is. That was just a bookmark there, so I could check into that. The Alligator State Park. I've got a receipt for a book that I got off of Amazon that's all about Florida. So if I'm planning a trip to Florida, that might remind me, oh yeah, you bought this book, well, got it free on Amazon about the Florida Keys. Let's have a read through of that. So you can see how assembling all of these notes on travel you can see how using your note-taking application can pull together, in this case, everything about travel and make this your second brain about all your travel plans. And like I say, today we're just talking about travel. I've got, how many notes have we got here on travel? No, there's more than 24 notes. Oh. $1,214 notes, all about travel, in Evernote right now. And as you saw, some of them were receipts, some of them were hand-drawn maps that I'd taken a photo of and put them into Evernote. Some of them are news articles, Facebook screenshot. The list goes on as to how you get your information into your note-taking application. But with it all tagged out the way it is, I can very easily see what I want to do. I can plan a trip based on that. Okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go scuba diving? Do I want to go hiking? Do I want to go kayaking? Do I want to go to a trade show? and I can see where all of those are. Likewise, I can see where I want to go or where I may be, and then I can plan some events around that. So I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into my travel planning through Evernote. And like I say, OneNote, Roam, Notion, all those other excellent note-taking applications can do the very same thing. It's just a matter of how you A, title your notes, and B, if you've got tagging options in your note-taking application, how you tag things. So you do need to put some thought into things like this. And I certainly, my tagging system might look very cluttered. I mean, here's however many tags just on travel alone. And it may look cluttered, but really, when it comes down to it, travel. If I'm planning a trip, it's a matter of, do I want to travel by location or theme? So when I close this all up, there's one tag system on travel. If I want to plan a trip based on what I want to do, if I want to go mountain biking, double click. Here's my notes on favorite spots that I want to do some mountain biking at. Or if I wanted to go to a certain place like you saw, back to all notes, travel, dash USA dash Arizona. "43 notes on places to go in Arizona and what to see. Devil's Bridge. Camp like this at the Grand Canyon. Go to, however you pronounce that, Arizona for the falls. Secret Pass, Bullhead City. Some Jeep stuff. Hiking. And you can see this is a Facebook thing off the phone. But anyway, that's using Evernote or your favorite note-taking application to do some travel planning. I hope that's given you a little bit of insight as to how I do it without making it too long and too complex of a process. For me, it works wonderfully. Like I say, quick search on the tags. I know what my tags are. And if I don't, I can just do wildcards, travel theme, with a star on the end, an asterisk. Pulls up all of those under the theme. If I've got a rough idea of what I want to do, it works wonderfully. I can put together the information, and then I can tag it with current travel plans, and we'll get into that later. But then all of a sudden, these notes show up in my current vacation planner. If I'm doing a scuba diving trip to Australia, I would tag this as travel trip, and it would go into my current trip planning notes. So I might plan that vacation in Australia. I'm going to do this dive trip. I'm going to do some hiking when I'm there. All those notes would then become a part of a current vacation notebook. But we'll talk more on that later. That was just a quick overview on my basics of travel planning and how I use Evernote, and more or less touching on what I do in Evernote to accumulate so many notes, and basically why I do that. It's a second brain for me. It saves me all that extra research, jumping out over to the website and starting from square one. I've already got favorites bookmarked in here that are things that I definitely want to do. Anyway, I'm on a bit of a ramble here with this. It's something passionate to me because it works so well. I hope that's given you some ideas. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Productivity in Real Life.